What's up, everybody? It's your boy Meme here. For breakfast, I had some avocado toast and coffee. For lunch, I had a taco salad, and for dinner, we had pizza. And yeah, nothing else is really going on. I work today. I parked the boat for the first time with the forklift, which is pretty cool. To prevent it from being stolen, we have this boat. That's my parents show in the background. To prevent the boat from being stolen, we put the boat into the warehouse where we work every night, and in the morning my boss has to take it out. But since I've been forklift certified, the responsibility of taking the boat out from the warehouse has sort of shifted to me, and so I've sort of been practicing a little bit, every time I'm in, and I was able to fully successfully do it without my boss interfering too much. He gave me some very minor advice while I was doing it, but it was the least advice he's given me, and now I'm more confident in I'm more confident in my abilities than I was before, which is pretty neat. Um, uh, yeah, and then I also something weird is that this morning this guy came in and he was like, "Hey, I'm from this company and I'm here to drop off some pipes and this pallet," and I said, "Do you need me to sign off on something?" And he said, "Well, you need me. I needed to sign off for the delivery and also take the stuff off the truck." And it was scary because the pipes were like 16 feet long or something. They were very, very large pipes, and while I do know how to use the forklift, um, I'm not very confident in my abilities, and I don't want to be I don't want to be the one responsible if something goes wrong while I'm trying to put these pipes into the right area. And so I was like, well, I can sign off on the delivery, but I don't have authority to take the pipes off of the truck or the pallet. Um, so I need to put in my password. My computer's updating. And so yeah, I was like, oh, I don't have authority to take this stuff off the truck, but my boss does, but he's not here right now. And he was like, well, when will your boss be here? And I was like, he should be here by now. And it's actually funny because he was like, okay, so okay, so he was like, okay, I'll park over here, like I'll park, out of the way, and I'll just wait for him. I was like, okay. Um, and so I went inside to text my boss. Well, first I tried calling him, but then I texted him because he didn't respond. Because he was riding a motorcycle, right? I wasn't expecting him to respond to the phone call, but if he did, it would have been nice. The reason my hair looks wet is because I just took a shower. Um, yeah, so I texted my boss, and then literally 1 minute after I had texted him, I totally heard his motorcycle, and I was like, "Hey, this guy's here for a delivery," and it ended up working out, and my boss just used the forklift to take the stuff off the truck. It was like for real, like 1 or 2 minutes after. 1 or 2 minutes after. And so, it had ended up working out. However, later in the day, my boss had told me, like, hey, just so you know, like, you're certified to drive the forklift. You should be able to do that. And he was telling me, if he had to wait for long enough, it wouldn't have been unlikely that his company would have charged our company, and it would have cost us, possibly it would have cost the company theoretically more money than the damage costs in doing something wrong with the forklift. And I wasn't aware of that. It makes sense, like how if you make the delivery guy wait, that they charge for that, right? Like it makes sense, but I just hadn't considered that. And my apprehension resulted in something that could have cost the company more money than if I just had lowered my inhibitions a little bit, and just decided to take the stuff off the truck. So that was a pretty good learning moment. I ended up, after I had moved the boat for practice, I also ended up moving the pipes, and it was easier than I thought it was. So I was like double proven wrong. But I'm happy it happened because otherwise I wouldn't know that companies charge other companies for making the delivery drivers wait, which makes sense. But you know, it, you know, um, and yeah, nothing else is really going on. That was pretty much the most interesting thing. At work, I was just working on safety data sheets. Our MSDS is a little outdated, so I'm just updating them, and it's so irritating. I from a regulatory standpoint, I could see why something like SDS was implemented. And maybe in the specific scenario of our hydrology lab, it doesn't make sense. But it's a little irritating that, like, if you purchase paint, which is a chemical, you need to have an MSDS or I guess an MSD sheet that says, hey, if you consume this paint, you have to go to the hospital. Or like, same with like adhesive. It's like, hey, don't put this adhesive in your eyes. You know, and you have to have a piece of paper and a binder that says to not put the adhesive you own in your eyes, which is what it says on the container of the adhesive also. It's a little strange. Again, from the regulatory perspective, I could imagine it's like, oh, well, we want resources about the chemicals companies use to be immediately accessible physically to employees, on the work site. Like, employees should be able to access information about the chemicals they're using, which, I think is the steelman argument for something like, readily accessible sheets like that, like SDS, SDS, right? But I'm trying not to do what's it called when you put the last word of an acronym at the end of an acronym, and so you end up doubling up the last word. I forget the name of that, but that's what I'm trying to avoid here. MSDS stands for Material Safety Data Sheet, and SDS stands for Safety Data Sheet, for the record. But yeah, it's just so irritating. I hate SDS, and I'm sure in other I'm sure if you work in like a biochemistry laboratory or something, it makes more sense to like have safety data sheets. But even then, I'm not entirely sure. Like, can't you just look it up? I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And yeah. Wow, 7-minute video. Wow.